Good morning, boys and girls. I said, good morning, boys and girls. Happy Sabbath. Before we begin today's children's story, is there anybody who would like to have prayer? Okay, Caleb.
Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for everybody. Please help us. Please help Sean to remember his studies and to do good on this. In the name of Jesus, we pray.
Amen. Today's story is about a king and three brave men. The king's name is Nebuchadnezzar, and the three men were known as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They lived in a place called Babylon, and the three men worked for the king and had important jobs for the province of Babylon. One day, King Nebuchadnezzar decided to build a huge statue made of gold that stood 90 feet high. To understand how tall this is, imagine 15 men standing on top of each other to make a tall tower. Boys and girls, it was sure big. King Nebuchadnezzar made an announcement to everyone in his kingdom. People of all languages, when you hear the music, you must bow down and worship the statue, because I have said so. Whoever does not obey and worship the statue will be thrown into a fiery furnace. In the Bible, God says, "Thou shalt not have any other gods before me, and thou shalt not make any graven images, or worship anything other than him." After all, God made us, and he loves us so much. He came to earth and died for us. So why would we want to pray to something that isn't real? Something that can't answer our prayers or help us? To worship a big pile of gold, like the one King Nebuchadnezzar set up, is silly. The gold can't hear, the gold can't see, and it cannot help you or care about anything or anyone. So the next time the music played, everyone stopped what they were doing and bowed down to worship this idol. Everyone except these three brave young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Some of the kings saw that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not bow down. They ran immediately to go tell the king. When King Nebuchadnezzar heard the news, he was very angry. He immediately ordered that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be brought to him to explain their actions. Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you will not bow down to worship the image of gold that I have made? Just in case there was a mistake, I will give you one more chance. When the music plays, you will be ready to bow down to the image. And if you don't this time, you will be thrown into a fiery furnace. Then what God shall save you." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego looked at each other and replied, "O King Nebuchadnezzar, we did not make a mistake, nor will we apologize for not bowing down. If we are thrown into the furnace, then the God we worship shall save us, and he will rescue us. But even if he doesn't, we want you to know that we will not serve your gods or worship the golden image that you have set up." That made King Nebuchadnezzar very mad. Right away, he ordered the furnace to be heated up 7 times hotter than it already was. And he commanded his strongest soldiers to take Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the fire. As the soldiers were pushing the men into the furnace of the flames, the fire killed the soldiers because it was so hot. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in the fire, but they did not burn. They were protected. The king could not believe his eyes. Then the king jumped to his feet and looked in amazement and asked his advisors, "Weren't there 3 men thrown into the fire?" His advisors responded, "Oh yes, king." He said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, and the 4th one looks like the Son of God." Nebuchadnezzar then came as close as he could to the furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, follower of the Most High God, come out, come here." So the three men walked perfectly out of the furnace without any burns, no hairs on their head burned, all their clothes perfectly fine, and no smell on fire on them at all. At that moment, Nebuchadnezzar knew that they worshipped the real God and not some fake statue. God had sent an angel to protect them from harm. And even more importantly, he realized that they truly believed and trusted in God. They were willing to die than serve any false god. So from that day on, the king made an announcement that all the people of all language could not say anything bad about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's God, or they would be badly punished. The king then gave the three men even better jobs than they already had for the province of Babylon. The moral of the story, boys and girls, is that God rewards his children. God will bless you for staying faithful. Remember, even though we are in this world, we are not a part of it. God wants us to set ourselves aside from the world and to follow him only. So, who would like to have closing prayer? Okay, Kayla again.
Dear Jesus, thank you for this day. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for letting my brother do this. Help us to have a wonderful day, the rest of the day. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.